America, I love you.
That's a great start. Okay, I'm back with Jeremy, and he's a friend of the channel.
Oh yeah, what's going?
Welcome to the Eric Bear channel. So today we wanted to just talk about his three favorite leaders.
Yes. That would be Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and John F. Kennedy. All of which were Republicans. All of which actually got murdered by our government party as well. So it was not a good thing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, wow. That was an amazing tie-in.
Yeah.
You're right. All of them were murdered.
They were murdered.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Huh.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So, and the fact that they killed Martin Luther King Jr., who was working with John F. Kennedy to help out black people back in the 60s and 70s was horrible. And then they go ahead and murder our president, John F. Kennedy, right after that, and had the gall to murder not only him, but his little brother, who had more power than him as an attorney general. So they murdered
And that was
the Democratic
the person that was the attorney general was.
Oh, that was his little brother. I think it's Robert Kennedy.
Oh yeah,
But he
Bobby.
was Kennedy.
Yeah,
Bobby
yeah.
Kennedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so they murdered him too, and it was pretty bad. And then they murdered Malcolm X as well. All of which were Republican people, and murdered by our government. There was no guy there like that attacking us back in the day like that. So where did that come from? That came from our own people.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to help us out, and get us out of this stitch that we were in back in those days too. So it just goes to show that kind of like history repeats itself in some ways.
Now, I mean, I'm not much of a historian, so, but help me understand, because my impression was, again, maybe it's just the news media over the time that's slanted all those people to be Democrats. Is that what's going on?
That's exactly what's going on.
So then they did kind of change my view of history, because my thought was all of those different gentlemen,
right.
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and JFK, were all Democrats, but that's not true.
They were not. Yeah, all of them were Republicans. Now Martin Luther King Jr.'s family, now his wife included, they're Democrat, which is boggles my mind. It's kind of you did the opposite of what your husband was fighting for and fighting for you for. And so now they're Democrat, but he himself, which I followed and became a Republican, was a Republican himself. So Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and so was JFK.
Yeah, well, now what did, maybe you, I don't know if you know this or not, but what did they think about abortion?
Back in those days?
Yeah.
Don't know that for a sort of fact, but I would hope that they feel the same way that we do, that abortion is wrong.
Yeah. Well, I know Martin Luther King did.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, for sure.
For sure, because he was a minister. He was a Christian minister.
Exactly.
And his niece, Aveda King, just came out, and she was talking, because she's a pro-life advocate.
Yeah.
And she was also just talking about, that they misconstrued Martin Luther King's several things.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. It's just misconstrued his message and what he was implying to us as a people, not just black people, but everyone, to be treated as the same and stuff, and don't base it off the color of your skin. So I looked to him for guidance in a lot of different things, and his message has helped us out. So as far as abortions go, I'm definitely against that. I understand women says that it's their right, their body. There's two ways around that. Either you take condoms or don't have sex. Make it easier for yourself.
There you go.
That's it. Make it easier for yourself. Because if you want to go ahead, we're all adults here. If you go ahead and make that choice and you actually have and you conceive a child and stuff, then guess what? It's time to be big men and big women and take care of responsibilities.
Yeah.
So the whole abortion thing, I'm solely against. And I assume that John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr. was in the same fact.
And you're good on history, so the person that started the whole Planned Parenthood, have you heard any quotes about what she said about black people? I think it's 27 out of all the abortions that are out there, out of I can't remember the percentages altogether, but there's maybe 10 to 27 out of the abortions that come into the clinics. 27 of those are black.
Yes.
And then 10 are white.
Exactly.
So it kind of goes to reason is what they and what Aveda King said in one of her interviews is that I'll probably just play it.
Director of Civil Rights for the Unborn, for Priests for Life, the niece of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. Welcome back to our broadcast.
Hello, Lauren. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good today. I'm so happy you're here. You have long argued that abortion is about racial discrimination. The Guttmacher Institute reports that African American women have the highest abortion rate, 27 in 1,000, right here on the screen, as opposed to 10 out of 1,000 white women. Why or how are African American women targeted for abortion?
Abortion, Lauren, like slavery, is a crime against humanity. So we know that slavery is a sin, slavery is wrong, sex trafficking, for example. But somehow the script was flipped. And so it became a civil right to abort a child. It became a woman's reproductive right. But nobody really examined the motives behind it, because the founder of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, said that colored people are like weeds. They need to be exterminated. Let's not let the word get out.
Is that she said that they're just trying. It's another way to try and get rid of black people
or a particular race.
Yeah.
That right there in itself is completely wrong and stuff. And people who goes with that is obviously being misled. It's just not the way we're supposed to be. And taking a life of any means, especially abortion, is completely and utterly wrong. Now, if you don't want to take care of your child, that comes down to it, and you didn't want a child or anything like that, well, then there's adoptions, you know. But do not take a life that can't fight for itself. That is the worst thing you can possibly do. And the fact that obviously the Democrats are approving abortions as well and stuff, talking about this whole "it's my body, it's my choice" type of thing. Well, if that's the case, now they're taking it to abortions where you can have it at 9 months. That's insane. The baby's pretty much getting ready to come out, and you can have abortions now. So I'm so much against what the Democrats are pushing, and I'm not sure if all of them are with this or just so much left-leaning that they want all these type of things. But it's just the wrong way of our people. It's the wrong way of this country. There's no way this should be allowed, or it continues to do this.
Yeah. Aveda King interview, she also said that the Vice President Harris, she believes that if that baby comes out, that and it's an abortion type situation, that you can kill, if that baby's still alive, that you kill the baby. I mean, I can't even believe something so horrific. I mean, shit, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's the closest thing is Satanism. You can go off of. But I feel like our country as a whole is going down the wrong path. It's kind of like Sodom and Gomorrah. We're allowing any indecent act and doing all type of stuff, and God will have his vengeance. We shouldn't want God to intervene, because if he intervenes, we'll be taken care of because we're going with him, but everything's going to be squashed away. And we shouldn't want that. We should be able to, as Americans, as people, fix our problems and go down the right path. So I don't think that doing abortions like that and making this world even worse is just not the right path. It's not good.
Do you think that, do you think Messiah is coming soon? You think Jesus is coming soon?
I think so, and it's just because of all the wrongdoings, and it's just so much turmoil in the world, and it's force-fed because it's just like so much It's so bad right now that we're imploding as a country.
Yes, we are.
And it can only get worse unless great-minded people, want to be indifferent and be better than what we're trying to put ourselves into. We want to be good and not bad. You don't have to be a particular, just quote-unquote nice guy, but be positive as opposed to being negative. If you can go down those directives, then you might can lead ourselves into a better outcome. And we should want a better outcome, because if we have to wait for Messiah, Jesus come back, then we're all in trouble. We'll be taken care of because the righteousness will be in the good, taken care of. Right. But the ones that are bad are definitely going the wrong way.
Well, we know that sooner or later it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And it's not like it'd be great if there'd be a big revival that would happen across our land and things like that, and people would turn back to God. I'm not talking about religion.
Right.
I'm talking about God. I'm not talking about religion. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're so religious." I'm not religious. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe in the God of Israel. I believe in Creator, the creation. He made all these wonderful things around. I mean, the rocks that's behind Jeremy here with this big, beautiful building.
It's amazing.
It was built. All those rocks were made by a Creator.
Correct.
And I mean, it's crazy what they're teaching nowadays in schools and things
Schools
like
is so
that.
bad. I don't have any kids as of yet, but I definitely would want some. But the way school systems is going, I wouldn't want to put them in that. I prefer to either homeschool them or private school, just because of the narrative they're going down. And at all-time high right now, high schools in general, even when they are graduating, they're graduating at a small amount, and they're not learning too much. Now they're trying to be activists into this cuckoo type of scenario and making things even worse than what they are. So I just feel that people just got to get a head on straight and really go down the right path, because we're just going down the wrong way.
Well, you're right about that. The school systems are turning people into activists. My editor's son was telling me how the teacher was just talking about all these political things, and he says, quote unquote, I hate it. He's actually was born in Guatemala, and his son was, and of course my editor is from Guatemala as well. But that's what he said. He said, I just hate it. And he's a Christian young man. He's a Christian teenager, and believes in Jesus. And people take Christian and they say different things about that, but he's just simply a belief in God and Jesus. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not. That's that. And I guess once you just take a stand for Jesus, then they're gonna hey, you're a Christian, and they just throw you in with that lump and everything else.
Well, that's weird.
But
Because if you don't believe in a higher power, you're kind of like wasting time. You can't understand that we've been here through millennia and stuff like that. And it's just men and women and stuff. No, there's a creator. We had all types of animals. We didn't make those animals. So people gotta understand there's a higher power in this. So if you don't want to call him Jesus, or you don't want to call him Buddha or anything, at least they all believe in a higher power. The fact that people really don't nowadays and stuff is just going down the wrong path. You don't want to do that. You don't have faith in something.
Yeah. I was talking with my nephew one day, and we're sitting out there and we're just having some burgers, and we're at some McDonald's or something like that. And so we're just and we were talking about creation, and he says, well, I believe God made the plants, but the animals evolved. Of course, he got that from school. I'm not sure what he believes now. I think he's very solid on creation and stuff now. But one thing I asked him, I said that car right there, how did it become a car?
Right.
Well, it had to have a creator, right? It didn't just all of a sudden, I think I'm going to grow tires one day.
Right, exactly.
I think I'm going to grow an engine,
Yes.
and grow a transmission, and grow a trunk.
Right.
And I think I'm going to take people around. That'll be what I'll do for my 20-year lifespan as a vehicle. As long as nobody crashes me.
Pretty much.
It's like, I think I'll do this, and I'll take people around.
Right.
I mean, if a car has a creator, it would make sense that you and I have a creator.
Exactly. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
We just didn't fly out the sky or anything like that. A stork didn't bring us. There was nothing like that. It was our God and Creator. That's all. And we come passing through our mothers and fathers and stuff, and we're on a ongoing cycle. But we have a Creator, and that's just how things go.
That's really encouraging, Jeremy. Anything else that you'd like to just say that's on your heart today?
Don't give up. If you're conservative or a Republican and you're seeing things from a different perspective because of the media and anything like that, don't give up. Also, don't be combative and violent at the same time. We want to be better. We'll be smarter. We'll be wiser. So research is our best friend, and collectively, together, being better, conservatives, Republicans, of all races, does not matter what race you are. We need to start helping each other and growing with each other and learning more. Then that way we'll be better people.
America, I love you.
Amen. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. I'm going to put your YouTube channel right on the thing. So,
Sweet. Thank you.
Thanks again.
All right, not a problem. Thank
Thanks,
you as
Jeremy.
well. Definitely. Have a great one.